Hello, everyone, and welcome. So, today we're going to be doing a pick a card reading, and it's going to be looking into the parts within you that need to be seen, heard, and acknowledged at this time. So, this reading idea came to me because I was doing a reading in my personal life, and I was, interacting with these different parts of me that sort of needed to be integrated so that I could move forwards in a certain area. And I found it really effective and useful and it kind of really shifted things and helped integrate things. So then I was thinking, well, I would love to be able to, see what would come through if I did it for the collective. So that's where we are. That's what we're doing. We got 3 groups to choose from, and you might be drawn to more than one or a different one at different times. Yeah, my intention for this reading is just that it really helps to bring freedom and clarity, illuminate the things that need to be illuminated, maybe help you reclaim some aspects of yourself that may have been kind of kept in shadow, things like this. And to help you feel more empowered, whole, free, all that good stuff. So I will also just let you know, I have just released a new light language tape called Solar Aura Activation. It is a powerful solar plexus chakra activation, clearing, healing, and it really works to clear the aura, the energy field, and I also directed it into the energy field of your home, working with shields of protection and privacy as well. So if you feel like you might resonate with this, you want to check it out, I'll link it down below. You can read more about it and see if it might be right for you to support you in your life. I actually listened to it last night as a sleep tape and I loved it. It felt really powerful. So check it out if you resonate. And other than that, I'll see you for your reading, okay? Take care. Group 1. So you chose the Shaman, trust in higher forces. And I feel like the card is directly depicting the part of you that is showing up to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, and also integrated more fully into the truth of who you are at this time, okay? So you have an archetype within you of a shaman. And I feel like this feels like a very strong presence from this card. Find the energy of this card very strong, but it also feels like almost a person. I feel like almost a person with me as I tune into your energy. And I feel like this is almost the part in you is almost personified as almost a spirit guide. Like, I feel like the part in you that wants to be seen, heard, and acknowledged is almost like has the wisdom of a spirit guide or a guide. It's almost like a past life self where maybe you were a shaman or you did have some kind of ancient indigenous knowledge or something like this, because it feels it feels like you had access to knowledge in another lifetime. You had access to knowledge in another lifetime that was very ancient and very powerful wisdom and magic and ways of understanding this earth, that a lot of that knowledge has been suppressed and kind of there's a lot of trauma and violence that has been inflicted upon people who possess ancient knowledge and wisdom over a long, long time. So I'm just seeing a lot of this knowledge and wisdom has kind of died out. And I mean, there's a lot of dark stuff that has happened in our histories, right? So anyway, so this part of you though feels like something about a past life self where you had ancient knowledge and wisdom that is not accessible in the same way today, except that we can, of course, access everything through the Akashic records, through all that is, through everything that has ever been thought, said, done, anything is recorded, is sort of kept in the unity of time. My God, it's very showing it to me right now. But when you're in this lifetime where you had this ancient wisdom, you had some kind of role in your community as well. So you were given you were able to study certain books, you were able to study certain information, and you had access that even other people at that time did not have access to. You had access to information spiritually, it was very spiritual. You were kind of a spiritual scholar, but in a very kind of tribal, indigenous setting, if that makes sense. There was something very hands-on about the way you learned. You learned to read, live off the land. I'm seeing in Aboriginal Australian traditions, they have the most incredible ways of just reading the land and being able to track people and places and food sources and water sources and different people's lands. It's just amazing. So I'm sort of seeing you had yeah, like really specialized skills, really specialized knowledge. But this part feels really strong in you. And I feel like it's because you earned it in that lifetime. It's like you earned some kind of respect at a soul level. It's like, yeah, like that's kind of the best way to put it. And I feel like this part of you's coming in to be like, hey, I am wise, I'm strong, I am connected to, like, I have the answers, I know. And I feel like this is maybe a part that wants you to look inwards more and trust in yourself more, as well as trusting in higher forces, right? Trusting in the divine. But I'm also seeing this sense of like, look for the answers within instead of trusting any kind of authority figures, because authority figures can be corrupted, or even just like, I'm just seeing maybe someone searching a lot for reassurance outside of themselves. And it's like this part in you already has it covered. This part in you already can do it, you know? And I feel like this part kind of like wants a chance to shine. This part wants a chance to like let their power out, you know, and be embodied. So they really, yeah, they want you to trust them, to trust in yourself, to trust in your intuition, to trust in God, in spirit, and to kind of recognize that you have some kind of wisdom that wants to be integrated from a past life, okay? That's coming through really strongly. This is like past life wisdom that really wants to come through and be integrated into your life, into your body, into your embodiment, into your everything, into the way you carry yourself in the world. Yeah, because I'm just seeing that you're also meant to awaken this ancient wisdom inside of you and live it out again on the earth. You're meant to reclaim it, kind of start, because you have access through the quantum. Okay. This is what this part was also saying. Like, you have access through the quantum. You're meant to, man, this is really, really interesting. You're meant to kind of have visions in a way of your past life and the role that you had. And I'm seeing you could even have really interesting visions, like almost photographic visions of a memory of past life. You could access this inside of yourself because you're super spiritual and cool. And you've also earned a lot of respect. Like, you have some kind of spiritual, like, look at this hat. Look at this hat this guy's wearing. Like, that is a really serious hat. And I feel like you got to earn a hat like that. I don't feel like, I don't feel like hats like this just come around every day, you know? You got to earn the right to wear a hat like that and to be able to pull it off. Look at his eyes. He's pulling it off 100%. You know, but some people might wear that hat and look a bit silly, and it probably just wouldn't work. And that's sort of what I'm seeing is like you've earned some kind of hat over your life as a soul, over your life's existence as a soul. You've earned some kind of hat, and then like it warrants respect. It's like I look at that hat and I think of respect, because this person has gone places. This person has seen things. This person has journeyed deep. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel like Spirit's saying. Like, you need to see this in yourself more, kind of thing, because you have the spiritual essence of all these experiences that your soul has had over many, many lifetimes. And in a way, I feel like sometimes you kind of keep yourself from your full power. That's what Spirit's kind of saying. And this part is like standing next to you almost as its own entity, like a spirit guide. It's almost, it's really different to how I've seen parts show up before. This feels like really different because it's showing me as like someone actually standing with you, like who you were as a past life, standing next to you. The quantum energy here is just wow, it's really kind of trippy. They're showing me it feels like it's a man as well. You were a man in this life, but for some of you, of course, if you feel like you were a woman, then go with that. It's just the way that I'm seeing it. I'm being shown more like a man, a male figure. And it's like this part of you that's showing up from your past life, it wants to come through. It wants to come in and be integrated fully into you so that you stand with some of that respect and power more, and you have that connection, like, yeah, that you're kind of meant to embody a similar role in this lifetime as well, is the other reason it's coming through. But in this lifetime, you faced a lot more resistance like, you did it almost harder in this lifetime. You chose, like, a harder route is what I'm being shown. This part sees that you had a harder route, and then things that came more naturally to you in the past life hasn't in this life, okay? So you chose something harder this time. This is just what I'm channeling. I don't necessarily understand what that means, but that's what I'm getting, okay? Like, I don't know why sometimes we choose harder things, but it feels like it's important. I guess we keep moving up a level or something, Spirit showing me. So it's like this lifetime you've moved off a level, but you're doing a similar role. You're meant to do a similar role. And you are meant to bring through this ancient knowledge, this ancient wisdom. It could be in a very specific way, like some kind of niche understanding of how to do healing or journeying, or some kind of use of plant medicine, or some kind of channeled music, drumming, dancing, movement. Like something is going to be channeled into this life that is seriously from this past life, and it's going to be amazing. You're going to feel like the way that what you have just channeled, you're going to feel like it's amazing. It's amazing quality. You're like, wow, this is beautiful. I love this. You're going to really love what you've created through this channeling from this past life. But I'm also seeing some of you are also just meant to live more wild, more free, and more like this part of you wants you to live more wild and free. That's what I'm getting. It wants you to live more in connection to the land and more in connection to the sun, to the stars, to the moon, to the wind, to the air, to the trees, to the leaves, to the soil, the grass, more connected to the plants, to the animals, to the seasons, to the weather. And something about what was lost. You're meant to pick up something that has been lost. Okay. That's what I'm seeing. You're going to be like a thread, not a thread, a chain. That's the better, like you're a link in a chain, and you're linking between present and ancient knowledge and practice and wisdom. And you're meant to be that link between past and present and future. Yeah. Yeah. So like some of you might fully be meant to be kind of a wildling in this life. Like you might be meant to live really out in nature, or you might be meant to, I don't know, like sleep like grounded to the earth, or wear bare feet everywhere, or I don't know. There's something about you're meant to live quite alternatively. This part of you might be reminding you of your joy, your desire, your dreams of living more wild, living more free, living more close to nature, and having a more natural existence. That's coming through as well. This part feels like they want to remind you, because almost like this part can't fully integrate until it's almost like as this part integrates, your life around you will change, and you'll live more in alignment with what makes your soul happy, what makes your soul sing, what makes your soul feel free. And for a lot of you, for some reason, it's showing up as like connected to nature, connected to like living off the land, living in community, living in the middle of nowhere, living on your own. I don't know, something like about living situation is part of how you feel more embodied into this part of you that emanates from a past life wisdom. Yeah, and then I see you're meant to take on the same role. That's what this part wants you to know. You're meant to take on the same role. You're meant to have some kind of leadership. You're meant to wear some kind of hat in this lifetime, okay? And you're going to wear that hat with dignity, because it's like I feel like at this time the kind of hat that you're meant to wear, I just feel like it's not time yet. That hat, it's not going to look right. There's something about that hat, it's just not going to work, when an outfit just isn't working. But I'm seeing soon you're morphing into more of someone who's going to be wearing one of these kind of hats and having this kind of, I'm talking about symbolically. You know how they say like you wear a hat in some way? It feels symbolic of some kind of role that you're meant to have. Yeah, and this past life is a real huge key to this role that you're here to play, because it's going to make it feel 100% natural and organic, rather than I feel like right now there's like aspects of modern life that I'm seeing this part is telling you to break up with it, okay? You're meant to break up and lose attachment to aspects of modern life and aspects of the collective consciousness, the modern collective consciousness that shapes our beliefs in these things. And you're really meant to get in touch with some kind of ancient channeling. You're meant to channel your ancient past life. You're meant to channel ancient systems, ways that Earth has been accessed in much more high vibrational, peaceful, harmonious ways. Yeah, you're meant to bring through that practice, that embodiment, live it out, as well as I feel like there is some kind of maybe spiritual practice, like I said, drumming, singing, channeling art. You're going to channel it through design. Something is going to come through from this past life into the world, and that is really exciting. So, yeah, you could start to work with this part to like sort of let's get a dice roll. How does this part want you to work with it so you can integrate it? Okay, really interesting. We have the sun, the 12th house, and we have Scorpio. So, you might have been a Scorpio in a past life. Um, because this yeah, this presence from this past life does feel quite strong. And I feel like that is giving me a very personified energy. Like it's very medium, kind of feels like almost medium is, mediumship gifts. It's sort of like that. So this part really wants you to acknowledge it being there. Like that seems to be step one is like, please acknowledge that this is real happening or that I'm here or that my wisdom is here, something like this. And then to acknowledge that there are things that deep down in your subconscious of what you need or how you need to be living or something that you want. Like, you really want to move to nature or you really want to, I don't know, whatever it might be, something to do with lifestyle. And they're saying that that is very real and is also really possible. Like, they kind of want you to see yourself at how powerful you are. And that seems to be like a piece of the energy that they hold. They acknowledge how challenging life has been and that you also chose a certain path this life. I keep being shown that is very challenging and can be quite heavy and emotionally kind of dense with the Scorpio energy, but that you chose it because you have the power to transform and to overcome anything. And this part wants you to know that they're always with you, like they're here to support you and that you can call upon them in a way like within yourself, like realizing that it's a part within you. But I feel like at times it stands beside you because I feel like there's blocks within you from fully taking this energy in about yourself or for yourself. So yeah, this part just really wants you to know that you are transforming, that you are going to become fully integrated, like, and that yeah, you've chosen a really full on life path and you're exactly where you're meant to be and that you are very, very powerful. You don't have to see power as being outside of yourself. And I feel like there's something is going to shift and this part will become just within you, integrated. They say with parts work, it's like we want to kind of have an integrated self where all the parts within ourselves are feeling loved, are feeling seen, are feeling heard, are feeling integrated as a whole system. But there are times in life where we have traumas, we have things happen, and these parts, they almost get ostracized or they get kicked out. And sometimes these parts are really powerful. They're really strong. They're really brave. They're really wise. You know, and sometimes, doing parts work, it's like we're meant to rediscover our brilliance, our power, our beauty, our sovereignty, our strength. And in this case, in this reading, that is exactly what Spirit wanted to bring your awareness to, is that you have this energy in your shadow that is you, that is like this incredibly powerful, wise, wisdomous freaking person. I didn't really give it enough adjectives there, but yeah, this is what Spirit wants you to know. This is what this part wants you to know. I really hope this reading helped and was illuminating. I found it super interesting, and definitely look into this past life and see what is shown to you, because I'm also getting you could do Like this past life part will show you as well what you need to know, like what you're meant to bring it in, how you're meant to bring it in through this life, or they'll show you a vision of like what you're meant to be doing or your role, your how you're meant to be a teacher or be of service, or if you're meant to like do drumming or singing or chanting or art or I don't know. They're gonna show you. They're gonna help show you like how you're meant to bridge these lifetimes once you kind of look inwards and start to, yeah, engage in your own parts work in your own creative way. All right. All right, that is your reading. I do hope you enjoyed it today. And I will also let you know I have just released a new light language tape. It is called Solar Aura Activation. I will link it in the description box below if you want to go read more about it. It is a really powerful solar plexus light language healing, and it also works deeply with the aura, with clearing and cleansing energies. Yeah, so thank you so much for supporting my work. I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care. Hello, group 2. So you chose Moon. Take care of intuitive messages. Well, take note of intuitive messages. Interesting that I said take care of them. Okay, so this is the part that is wanting to be seen, heard, and acknowledged by you right now is a part of you that's very, very intuitive, very, very sensitive, has almost like a moon-like quality. It may be a part that sort of came through you as a child and you may have been called moody or a drama queen. This part feels very sensitive, but also very kind of emotionally raw or like can't hide the emotions kind of thing. Wears their heart on their sleeve. And I feel like this part may really fluctuate quite a lot in your life in their prominence, like from full moon to new moon. I feel like this part is unhealed. Okay. That's what I'm getting. This part feels like it's a very powerful aspect of you because it holds like your inner child wisdom. Okay, this feels like your inner child. I was like, why is this part so all over the place? Okay, but your inner child has a lot of wisdom for you in this lifetime. You're meant to work a lot with the energy of the inner child. When you're channeling and you're at one with your inner child is when you're actually your most magnetic, your most creative, you're most connected to spirit. I feel like you have a really maybe playful energy to you, or you have a way of being quite playful with life, quite sort of free in your expression. Or you're meant to be very like free in your expression in your body. You know, I'm seeing someone who's very maybe embodied and sort of moves with their body or does, you know, cartwheels when they're excited. I'm seeing that kind of energy. So it feels like this part of you is the inner child, okay? Just to clarify, because I know I was kind of it felt almost like hard to see at first, which is funny because that works with the moon energy. The moon kind of distorts things and hides it. And I feel like your inner child might be really sometimes quite playful with you and also might hide from you a bit. I feel like there's something here about the inner child. Your inner child feels quite sensitive, quite moody, kind of like, and I don't even like to say moody because I feel like that is not true. I feel like your inner child is just very like sensitive, like is taking in more sensory information than average person, okay? I think that was your experience as a child. In some way you were more sensory sensitive or you were taking in a lot of information, very psychic kind of energy is what I'm getting from this. Okay, so take care of intuitive messages is what I said at the beginning. So I feel like this inner child part of you wants to be taken care of more. And I feel like that you're meant to do, or you've already been doing this work, I guess, actually, is what I'm being shown. You're already doing work to heal your inner child. And I feel like you're going to get to a point where this inner child feels a lot more calm and soothed and kind of regulated, because at the moment I feel like sometimes this inner child can cycle between, like there's a cycle happening, right? Like the moon cycle where the energy is constantly changing and in flux and in flow. And I feel like that's partly because you're a really creative person and that's how it's meant to be. But I'm just seeing that there's a level of chaos or an aspect of chaos here that isn't kind of necessary. You can have a more stable emotional existence and you can have a more stable creative flow and output. And okay, so yeah, this inner child is definitely a part of your brilliance, though. That's the other thing this part of you wants you to know is that you're meant to be very brilliant in this life. You're meant to share your creativity in some way. I feel like you're the kind of person who has a really good sense of clothes or fashion or beauty or style, or somehow you always are a very expressive person. I feel like there's something you're always expressing yourself. Maybe you're really good at cooking and you cook for people you love. There's something you're always doing, or it's like the way you dress or something that really shows who you are and people can see who you are. Like there's something about who you are that's written right there in front of them. And I feel like that's a really endearing part of you. And there's something here about your inner child is part of your intention for your soul in this lifetime is actually something to do with the inner child and working with the inner child and kind of reparenting yourself or becoming whole again, like bringing that inner child in more, because I feel like sometimes your inner child might take over and it might make you feel like the child doesn't, how do I word this? The inner child isn't meant to be like driving the car. Do you know what I mean? We're meant to be driving the car and the inner child's like enjoying the ride with us and like we're taking input, we're creatively collaborating, we're having fun times. But if the child is literally driving the car, then that's a little bit like scary situation. Do you know what I mean? And that's the kind of energy I'm getting with your inner child, is that sometimes they're kind of just like taking over and it can make it feel a little bit out of control, chaotic, right? So I feel like you're meant to be really close with your inner child. You're meant to have a really like, and I mean, like, even that sentence is kind of like a crazy thing to think, to be really close with your inner child, because it sort of makes you think, well, what would that even look like? But I'm seeing for you that it would look like a very incredible creative career. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. You're meant to be a creative. You're also meant to be eternally young. Okay, you're meant to have that eternal youth spirit, but in a way that like is functional, not in a not in a way that doesn't really function. In a way that's very functional, but is also just like eternally young. I'm also getting a message that you actually have a very favorable relationship with aging, okay? Something about aging, you become luckier. Some of you might become more and more attractive or have glow ups as you get older. There's something where you like defy time. Like time is on your side. That's the energy I'm getting. You're very blessed by by the cycles of time. And your life will keep improving as you age. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, maybe as well, you're meant to live really like free from fearing of age or something like this. I feel like you're meant to kind of exit the matrix on time in some way and be some kind of embodiment of that, where time is on your side, where you're not, there's so much like fear around aging and time and all these things. And I just feel like you're really meant to kind of live outside of that. You're meant to kind of exit that energy, exit that belief system, exit that way of existing and have your own relationship with it and have your own embodiment of it. But you might be someone who people always think is younger than your years. Um, like when they're like, oh, really? I thought you were, this young. And or you might like love it when you get your ID checked or something like that. There's something about you that feels very young, and that's part of this being in this relationship with your inner child, having this really strong relationship. I'm just getting like a really calm scene where it's like the inner adult is driving the car, the inner child is hanging out there. You're having like a fun time, you're singing a song, you're driving, you're having a good time together. That's the vibes that I'm seeing in this future version of you. And I feel like you're on the right track. That's the other thing. I don't want it to come across as if this reading is saying that you haven't done anything or something, because I am getting that really strongly. You are already doing this work to heal the inner child, and healing the inner child takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of persistence. But it can be done, and it's already happening in your case. It's definitely already taking place. Like you're healing at very deep levels. And I feel like, yeah, you are a healer all of you. Like, I feel like you are a really deep healer, and so it's only a matter of time. Yeah, time is on your side. It's only a matter of time before this inner child energy is fully shifted, because I'm just seeing a lot of progress has already been made. And that's something that I feel like I might not have been emphasizing enough, is that, yeah, a lot of progress has actually already taken place in this case. So let's get you a couple of cards. We're asking about this part that wants to be seen, known, and acknowledged at this time. What part of you needs to be seen, known, and acknowledged at this time? We have Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. Yep. And Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. Yeah. So Moon and Mother. Oh, no way. Look, we have another Mother. All right, we're going to pull that. And then what have we got? Back of the deck is Direction Guardian, choose your path. Interesting. So we have Moon, which is symbolic of the mother. Then we have Earth Mother, and we have Medicine Mother. So we got a lot of mother energy happening here. We got a lot of maternal love here. So I feel like equally then the part that wants to be known to you is also your inner mother, okay? Your inner child and your inner mother in particular, okay? In particular, the inner child and the inner mother. And it's so interesting because what did I tell you as well? The vision that I was getting, it was of the inner adult driving, or in your case, the inner mother driving the car, and the inner child hanging out and having a great time safely, like I'm seeing quite a young child, like age 5 or something, versus the other energy that I was getting was the image connected to the image where the child was driving, and that's terrifying. Okay, so that's symbolic of like who's driving your life, who's the one in charge. And when there's some kind of trauma with the inner child, and it's not fully, like, the inner child will sort of take over. And so yeah, you have a very healing energy though, group 2. Like, you have some strong Medicine Mother, Earth Mother, maternal kind of healing vibes. You're very connected to the goddess, to the healing energy, maybe connected to the Mother Mary energy. There's something very loving and healing about you. So you have the perfect skills, you have the perfect, gift of healing so that you can heal this inner child energy in this life. And I feel like as well, your wisdom, you're meant to kind of show others what a healed inner mother is, and what that looks like, and how that is embodied some way, somehow. Because it's rare, and you're definitely the rare kind of person who would actually do it though, and who would actually heal in this way, because you are a healer. All parts of you are healers. Like, you just are a very healing kind of force. With the Earth Guardian as well, stay rooted and grounded. I feel like this is that energy I was getting again with the inner child, when the inner child is kind of not like healed, then there's a sense of chaos in life. And that's what I'm seeing. This part wants you to know and be aware of that. When that inner, like, as you are making progress with healing your inner child, because like I said, you're already doing it, as you're making progress with healing the inner child, that sense of feeling grounded and rooted is going to become very apparent. And that is going to be a way that oh, I have integrated this traumatized energy into love, into peace, into tranquility, into groundedness, into rootedness, and into stability. Because as well, I'm seeing some of this inner child chaos and energy that I'm picking up on. It could manifest as like instability with money, or instability with basic survival needs. And of course, there may also be the need to look at your childhood to some extent and see, where were these patterns rooted in from? Where were these patterns rooted from? Where was this chaos, trauma, energy coming from? And maybe it started young. Like, some of you may have had real life instability, or it might have been an emotionally insecure home that you were in, where emotions weren't safe or insecure and things like this. So there's a lot there in the root, right? In the root chakra with Earth Guardian there, in the subconscious with the moon here, and then connecting in as well with your own mother, your own experience of mother. What was that like for you? Um, because we will subconsciously play out our own relationship with our mother in the way that we mother for ourselves until we become conscious and heal. So think about, what was your experience of your mother? Everyone's was different, and there's none that are all there's none that are the same. Like, everyone's is just so unique. So, some a lot more painful than others. But anyway, so yeah, I'm just seeing there's something there about really acknowledging, I suppose, what was your experience like as a child, and how has that been almost encapsulated in this inner child energy that's playing out in your life? How is that energy being played out by your inner child now? So I feel like there's also a really strong message here with all the mother energy, right? Around you becoming your own inner mother, because that is really how we heal the inner child. We become our own inner adult parent, our own inner father, our own inner mother, and we care for ourselves. And yeah, I feel like you're really good at looking at this kind of stuff. I feel like you have a really, really strong understanding about these things to do with your childhood, your past. I feel like you're someone who knows that in order to get to where you want to go in life, you also have to acknowledge your past. You have to acknowledge where you've come from. You have to look at the root of things to see, where is this pattern coming from in my life? Where does it come from? I feel like you're already really good at doing that, and you know how to sort of uncover things, uncover the root. So yeah, so Spirit's saying you're making a lot of progress with the inner mother and the inner child in particular, and to keep working with them, because that was the image I saw. It was a mother and a child together in the car. So those ones seems to be the most important. And maybe there is deep, deep mother wound. You might have a deep mother wound inside of you, which is why this inner child might be feeling so chaotic at times. It might have been directly connected to the way that you were mothered for some of you, and the mother wound that may have left. So I'm seeing a lot of healing is already taking place around this, but I'm also getting a message to keep going, because with Direction Guardian here, this is really giving me the energy of all is possible. Choose your path. Like, you can really have an incredible outcome here. You have what it takes. You have that natural maternal energy in you, instinct in you. I think that for a lot of you, you may resonate with having a mother who maybe didn't have that didn't have that same loving energy that you have. Okay, some of you, you may have had a mother that for some reason, in some way, was a bit neglectful or wasn't fully present with love in some way, for whatever reason. A narcissistic mother, and addict mother, I don't know, there might have been some condition, not for everyone, right? But I'm picking that up a lot here, a lot of pain to do with the mother. But it's funny, or maybe not funny, but it's interesting, it's contrasting, because I feel your energy actually kind of is like this mother goddess energy, the earth energy, very loving, very comforting. But then your experience of mother on earth may have not been that. And so there's this, yeah, that's what you're sort of coming to terms with. You're healing something to do with mother wounds so that you can heal your inner child. Yeah, that's what it feels like, definitely. And Spirit's saying, like, you can really go far. You can really have it all in life. You can really take whatever direction that you would like. You're very talented. You're very gifted. And you are definitely going to heal and become whole. Like, that is something that I feel like is just a guarantee. And I feel like you kind of know that, because you're a strong healer. You've got that really deep introspective energy. You've got that intuition energy. You've got that ability to look at your past, to do healing, therapy. You might be someone who's done a lot of therapy, done a lot of journaling. You have a lot of momentum going to do with healing now. So yeah, you can really have it all. You can really go whatever path you want in life. Whatever you want to achieve, you have the ability to do it. but the healing work, the foundation work has to be done. That's the thing. And that's what this part, like, you can make so much progress though. This is what this part wants you to know. Like, you can make so much progress. You can have so much success in life. Like, you never have to doubt that. But yes, clearing the root first, because you got places to be, you got places to go, you got success to experience in this lifetime. So you have to have that root energy cleared and healed and have that inner relationship within yourself good to go, you know? That inner child, inner mother loving connection. Yeah. All right. That is your reading. Group number 2. What an interesting reading that came through for you. If you would like to check out more of my work, I have just released a new light language tape called Solar Aura Activation. It's a powerful aura clearing and solar plexus chakra activating light language transmission. It's like 20-ish minutes, and yeah, I just find it really powerful. I listened to it as a sleep tape last night actually to kind of like get with the energy of it, and I found it really quite strong. I really enjoyed it. So I'll link it down below if you would like to check it out. And I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care, okay? Bye. Hello, group 3. So you chose Shapeshifter, transform and unveil your gifts. So I feel like you are a shapeshifter and you're meant to go through like quite a strong transformation in your life, or you're meant to go through many of these transformations in your life. So I feel like this part that really wants to be seen is actually your gifts, your talents. Something about your gifts and your talents may take some time to come through. It may take some time. I don't know, I'm just seeing something like it may take some time. It's almost like it has to shape shift into reality. You have to transform in some way. Life has to transform in some way for your gifts to completely be unveiled. And I feel like there's something where the world hasn't fully seen you yet. There's some aspect of your talents that the world hasn't fully seen yet. I feel like they've seen glimpses and flashes, but the truth is that you're very, very extremely talented. I have to say, the truth is that you're very, very extremely talented and you have really, really incredible gifts, and also gifts in many areas, many different areas and many diverse areas, and you're just so multi-talented. Like that's the energy I'm getting, is like almost so many parts now, like looking at me being like, hey, I feel like you see how there's so many animals depicted and humans in this shapeshifter. It's like, wow. That's the energy I'm getting from you. Like, you're very multifaceted, you're very multi-talented. You have a lot of different parts of you, you have a lot of different interests, you have a lot of different talents, you have a lot of different gifts, and you're meant to kind of embody them all. And that's why I feel like there may be some aspect of this where you have to grow into it, because you're doing a lot. Okay, this is a really specific image that I'm being shown. This is, the image, the image I'm getting is like, I don't know what they're called, like street performers or clowns or something, and they kind of do all these different things, like they're balancing on some board, and then or they're on like a unicycle, and then they start juggling, and then they start like throwing up, like, I don't know, they start juggling with like even more balls, or they're doing like all these different things at once, and they keep making it harder and harder and harder. For some reason, that's the image I'm getting. I hope you're with me on this. That's the image that I'm getting, is like one of those sort of street performers where they have so many different things that they're doing at once and they're juggling all these different things. And it's like, how did that person even learn how to do that? Like, they would have to learn one at a time, right? And you just add one thing at a time. So first you're just on a unicycle, and then you start juggling, and then you add another ball, and then another one, and then you add another trick and another thing. You have to add it slowly over time. And I know that's a really specific image, but that's what I'm seeing being shown with you and with your gifts. It's like all parts of you are important, but it may come in over time because each part has to be integrated. And for you, this reading feels very specifically talking about your talents and your gifts, okay? And your success in life, because I'm seeing that there may have been something that has been holding you back a little bit with success. It may have been something that you feel like, yeah, you haven't fully reached your full potential or something in some area or in some way. And I'm just seeing that you got a lot of gifts. You've got so many gifts, and part of that is learning how to juggle all of them and integrate all of them into this huge crescendo of like you. And you are meant to kind of, yeah, crescendo, like be kind of loud. You are kind of meant to make a big impact, to make a big difference in this world, to make a big impact on the world. That's why I feel there's this energy of you that's still hiding or that still hasn't been unveiled in some way. I feel like you haven't really unveiled yourself fully to the world yet. And that's okay. I feel like that's part of the plan. That's part of the unfoldment. And especially, I'm seeing a strong transformation energy, a strong Scorpio energy coming through as well. Plutonian energy of transformation, the phoenix as well, the eagle, doing transforming from one form to another. That's part of your life path. That's part of your life script. And it's going to be quite remarkable, this transformation. I feel like you're someone who holds a lot of talent in your shadow in some way. There's something like that. There's something like your shadow holds a lot more good than bad. You know how we talk about shadow work and integrating all these parts of ourselves? But I feel like for some reason, a lot of parts of you that were exiled in your life is actually really talented, really gifted, really brilliant aspects of you. So, yeah, I feel like the putting yourself back together, making yourself whole again, healing is also like reclaiming a lot of really amazing parts. Mostly amazing parts. Like, yeah, still some traumatized aspects of yourself and parts of you that may carry more pain or fear from your past, but s- you got like a lot of talent. Like, this is a kind of intense level of talent. Some of you also might be like really intensely beautiful or something. And there's something about your appearance. Like, you might be having some kind of a change in your appearance when you go through this transformation, or you may have already had that experience before. But there's something where your appearance shows a lot of your inner world or something like this. And I'm just seeing something about you healing, changing the way you look. The way when you heal, it changes the way you look. And I think you're going to really like what you end up looking like in the future. Okay. That's what I'm getting. There's something about the healing work you're doing now. It's going to change the way that you look. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's get some more information about this part of you. She-wolf, unleash the wild within. Well, there's two wolves now. And I just heard lone wolf as well. Yeah, you might have felt like you didn't really fit in. Oh, we have warrior, be fearless and stand strong. You might have really felt like you didn't fit in very much in life, because you might feel like with she-wolf, you live outside of the norm, you're alternative in some way, you're wild in some way, you don't play by the rules. And yeah, we have shift your perception with air guardian. Like, I feel like your existence shifts people's perception of reality. Let's split the deck. Oh, but we have peacekeeper. Interesting. I feel like this part of you wants you to be more rebellious, okay? This talent that you have, this success, you're meant to rebel against something inside of you that maybe wants to like keep the peace or not rock the boat or not be too controversial or not be too beautiful or not stand out too much, not attract too much jealousy. Something about like playing it small to fit in, playing it small to keep family members at bay. You'd be surprised how much it comes up in when I do energy readings of like how impactful it is when you have family members, society, friends be really jealous of you growing up, and especially with family members, because it imprints. It can, maybe even if it's a sibling that gets really jealous all the time, it can make you kind of want to like dim your light and not shine as bright because you don't want to cause someone you love pain, or if it's a narcissistic parent or something that's jealous, this can cause like, yeah, a lot of issues. So I'm seeing for some of you that might be your story where you've had a lot of jealousy directed at you when you from a very young age. You might have shone really bright, and it kind of made you want to hide your gifts. It made you want to hide your talent. It made you want to hide your beauty or your, like, for some of you, it could be really connected into your appearance as well. You might have been very, very striking looking as well. Um, and I just seeing something about this trauma from having people, yeah, like single you out, and in some way it became negative. Like, you'd think being really successful or being really gifted or beautiful would be always a positive thing, but within duality, it is not always the case. And that's what I'm seeing for you, is like within your shadow is actually things that people would consider gifts, like that people would think, why would you not want that thing? That's amazing. Why would you have, felt like that thing had to be in the shadow, it would be hidden? But it's that's what I'm getting with your energy. It's like you had to hide these brilliant things about you because it wasn't safe for you to have them be embodied as you when you were a child. Wow. This could also be gender. This could be gender issues as well for some of you, where it's like you were not allowed to be really, really feminine as a boy, as a little boy, or you were not allowed to be really, really masculine as a little girl. You weren't allowed to be powerful or dominant or assertive or loud or something. So it's like that got pushed down. Yeah, there was something like this. But the thing is that the level of positive things here, it feels sad that you didn't have an environment that made you feel safe to be these things. Because, like, someone who feels like they can't be beautiful as a child, like that just breaks my heart. Or like feeling like you can't be smart or loud or assertive or intelligent or, I don't know, like strong-minded. These are all beautiful qualities, and these are the things that I'm seeing, like, in this collective reading. Of course, I'm seeing many different ones shown as examples, but it's kind of making my heart ache a bit, because it feels like these are things that anyone should be celebrated for being, you know? These are things you should be celebrated for being this way. This is amazing. So that's what I'm seeing is the pain point, I guess, in the heart. I'm feeling some pain where, to bring these parts back, you kind of have to acknowledge the pain of the fact that, why would I ever think that I couldn't be this way? Why would I ever think I couldn't be smart, or that I couldn't be, as smart as I am, or as beautiful as I am, or as loud as I am, or as, strong-willed as I am? These are things that are sort of gifts. Like, I just can't, yeah, they're meant to be gifts and cherished. So I see that there's like some healing work that this part is wanting to, or these parts, there's many parts, wanting you to see that you kind of have to recognize that you put these parts away to like keep the peace, especially within a home or within a culture, within a religion, within a society. There are many ways that, within a family unit, that is its own culture. That is a strong cultural, that has strong cultural significance, okay? That really impacts your life. Like, if you're growing up, I don't know, if you're growing up gay in a household where there's homophobia versus if there isn't, that makes a huge difference in your life and in your livelihood and in your well-being. That's like a very big difference. So sometimes family culture is all that it needs. Sometimes family culture is the biggest impact because, for example, it might have been in your family in particular, you weren't allowed to be loud as a girl. You had to be soft-spoken and quiet or whatever. I'm seeing something like this, okay? So think about it for yourself in your own life. It's like, what was the culture within your family of origin? What was that culturally like? Because that culture sometimes impacts us more than what is, societally kind of considered normal or acceptable for behavior or for who you are. Yeah. So there's something here as well for some of you about jealousy in particular as well, where you may have been jealous. There may have been a lot of jealousy directed at you for being a certain way. And I think this made you feel quite unsafe, and it made you feel like, oh, I don't want to be this way because this gets me a lot of negative attention. Even if it was something really good, like being really pretty or something like this. There's something about that where it's like it felt unsafe. I can't have this, I can't embody this, so I need to kind of distort it or hide from it in some way. So some of you might have that in your legacy story as well. And when I say peacekeeper, you kept the peace to keep a harmonious sort of situation. This isn't really a conscious decision, you know? This is like really deeply wired into us as human beings that we need to belong, we need to fit in order to get our needs met, especially as children. Like there is a feeling of not feeling safe if something that you are, something that you have is not seen as acceptable, or if you are treated with conditional love, right? Because a lot of people as children have sort of a feeling of conditional love. Like I said, families have strong cultures. They have their own micro culture. And some families can even feel like more like cults, even, culture, cult. So keep that in mind. This is sort of the perspective that Spirit's showing me as to why these parts of you felt like they had to go underground. They had to go out of sight, so that they wouldn't be targeted with this negative energy from your surroundings. And for some of you, this could have been more of like a widespread culture, like, it was something that was culturally shared, or you were in a religious area and you weren't allowed to be a certain way or whatever. Some of you, it might have been a broader thing like that, but for some of you, it was more close to home. So I see part of your healing is to rebel, to be a bit wild with the she-wolf, to unleash the wild within and be fearless and strong with the warrior card. That is the true medicine here for you. It's to shift your perception, the air guardian, to recognize that nothing about you was ever wrong. Nothing about you was ever too much or too little. You weren't ever too smart or not smart enough. You weren't ever too beautiful or not beautiful enough. Like that was never the case. And I feel like there's some kind of wounding here that you are in the process of healing. And like I said, the medicine is to kind of stand up against the voices inside that you may have internalized that make you feel like you have to hide from the world, or that you can't be as successful as you want to be, or you can't be as smart as you want to be, or you can't be as beautiful as you want to be, or something like this. And to rebel against the jealousy and things like that that might make you want to dim your light or act small, play it down. I feel like that is a direct part of your life path in this incarnation that you've chosen, is to come up against this kind of programming. Like you're definitely meant to overcome this programming in this lifetime and kind of rewild yourself, free yourself to be your exact authentic self, and a very successful one at that, a very abundant one, a very powerful, beautiful. Like I'm just getting this like energy of like someone who's strikingly beautiful, but they want to hide it because they're afraid of people who will be jealous or will, envy them and sort of target them. It's a very specific kind of wounding, okay, that I'm picking up on. Or, some aspect of your authentic self you did not feel like was okay, like your sexuality or something like this, that is very wounding for the soul to go through this experience. But you're 100% on track to healing and to reclaiming these parts that have been placed into your shadow, that was nothing was ever wrong with them in the first place. And that's the thing that you're learning and that you're healing. You're like, there was nothing ever wrong with me in the first place. Like, yeah. And there is pain, there's pain around not being seen in the first place and celebrated and adored for exactly who you are. Ever feeling like you have to kind of contort or shapeshift or change yourself in order to be loved and accepted is painful. So you're healing that and you're shifting your perception of yourself. You're wilding, rewilding your energy and going like rebelling against any of that programming that tells you to hide, to play it small, to dim your light, to soften your voice, to whatever. You're realizing that that programming is never going to make you feel good. Like, I think that's part of the rebellion, is like, I can't live like this. And some of you, it might be like you really have to come out against culture, against religion. For some of you, that might be part of your life story, or against the culture of your family. Like, you're like, you know what, I'm not like this. I'm actually this way. And doing something different, that might be part of your path or already been part of your path already historically. So you do have this peaceful energy. And the thing is that you are meant to shift people's perception on earth. That's part of your role on the earth. You are meant to shift people's perception, but still keep the peace. Like, you're not meant to be like, there's something about the way that you can do it and be provocative and shift energy that is going to be very non-violent. You know what I mean? It's going to be very peaceful to a certain extent. So you have a lot of gifts to unveil throughout your lifetime. You have a lot of talent, success, and incredible things to reclaim. That's what these parts of you want you to know. And they're also pointing you in the direction of rebellion, wildness, going against, standing up against any kind of programming that tells you, like I said, that puts your kind of perception of yourself into a negative. That is your reading for today, Group 3. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you would like to check out more of my work, I have just released a new light language tape called Solar Aura Activation. It's a powerful energy clearing, aura cleansing, and solar plexus chakra activation. I will link it in the description box below, and I will link my store if you would like to check out all of the offerings that I have. Thank you so much for supporting me and my work. I'm sending you so much love and light. Take really good care, okay? Bye.